Well, we're at the entrance to the port in Lampedusa. You can see the Mediterranean behind me there. And actually, we've got what are called the Mistral winds, Patrick, that are really quite significant out in the Mediterranean there, and they are stopping most of these boats from coming towards Lampedusa. So some respite for the people of this island who've seen more than 11,000 migrants here over the past week. And as we just reveal the shot here, we can show you one of the migrant boats that came so close to getting into the harbour but actually run aground here on the rocks just at the entrance to the port itself. Now, this is a wooden migrant boat. We're told that most of the wooden migrant boats come from Libya. If we look inside the boat itself, you can see some of the makeshift life jackets that they've got. They're just basically tire inner tubes. I mean, this one's still got its air in it, so it just tells you that this boat ran aground really within recent weeks. But this, out in the Mediterranean, if this boat gets into difficulties and you're thrown into the water, it might be some good, but it's certainly not as good as a life jacket. Let's take a look around the other side of this boat now, because you can see actually from this side just the damage that was caused to this boat as it smashed against the rocks at the entrance to the port itself. Here, a massive hole in the side of the boat. You can see through there probably to where the engine is, the engine that helped power that boat across 200 plus miles from North Africa to Lampedusa itself, and some of the life jackets and makeshift life jackets in there, and of course it's hanging from the side. I mean, it's always almost as if they've been planted there, but I can assure you that they've not. They're just hanging out through the gaps in the side of this boat itself. But an absolute wreck of a boat now, smashed up, never quite made it to the harbour, but obviously those that were on board this vessel were picked up by the Italian Coast Guard and the NGOs that work out here and taken to the main migrant camp just about a mile or two down the road.
Mark, what's that migrant camp like? Are they detained within it? Are they allowed to walk around Lampedusa? And also, as well, what are the locals like about all of this?
Well, they're not really allowed to roam around the main town in Lampedusa, but they were doing that when we had many thousands that were landing here, because that camp, just like the island itself, was overwhelmed. We say 11,000 came in the space of about a week or so to Lampedusa. At one point, the migrant camp, which is meant to hold no more than 400 people at a time, had 7,000 in it at one point, according to the Red Cross official I spoke to a little earlier this afternoon. She said that she and her colleagues really struggled to care for those that were there. There were scenes of disorder within the camp, and we saw actually many of the migrants who were in the camp scaling the perimeter walls, going off down into Lampedusa, into the town itself, and wandering about the town. Lots of police on the island, because although we've got these Mistral winds at the moment, they're due to die down by Wednesday. And just like we see in the Channel so often, Patrick, we know that when the winds die down, the boats then start coming again.
And Mark, just quickly, because I'll be returning to you in the next hour, but you mentioned earlier on that there's a good chance that these mostly men are heading to France with a view of coming to Britain. I mean, is that the case? Is the Italian government really going to fly them off this island and plonk them in Europe so they can make that journey?
Well, yeah, they're going to be taken to Europe. I mean, there's none of them, as far as we are aware, that have been returned to Tunisia, Libya, or whatever other part of North Africa they have come from. So they are being taken from here by ferry, about 400 a day when the ferries are operating, 400 on each ferry trip, into Italy proper, and then from there they are meant to be disseminated throughout the European Union. But we've got a row within the EU at the moment where France and Germany are refusing to take Italian originated migrants because they say the Italian government is not being reciprocal in taking its share of other migrants who are coming into Europe. So that's a row. But we know historically that all of those coming into southern Europe, the vast majority will try to head north to the more affluent countries in northern Europe, and a proportion of those, actually quite a significant proportion of those, will head to the coast of northwest France with a view to getting to the UK.